I think at a very high level, I'd say that autonomy is an insanely fundamental breakthrough, and no one is even close to Tesla for solving generalized autonomy or generalized self-driving vehicles. No one's even close. With self-driving, as I was talking about earlier, the car becomes, call it roughly 5 times more useful, but it costs the same to build. Now, can you imagine what would happen if a company was we're doing like 25 to 30% gross margins, but suddenly that same thing was 5 times more valuable? What would that do to the value of Tesla and the value of that car? It boggles the mind, actually. So, if you think of net present value of future cash flows, if you actually do the math on that, it's insane.
こんにちは。テスラ全力チャンネルのタイツです。株主からテスラになぜ投資すべきなのかという質問に対してイーロン・マスクは、逆に現在のクロスマージン、つまり売上高から製造原価を差し引いた後の粗利率 25% の企業が商品価値を5倍に引き上げたらどうなると思うという問いを逆に投げかけています。その場合、このような計算によって利益率は 85%、つまり現在の 3.4 倍にもなります。こうした利益構造が改善されれば利益に対する株価の倍率、すなわち PER も上昇するため、株価も3倍以上になる計算です。では、イーロン・マスクが目指しているテスラの企業価値は3倍程度なのかと、大したことないなって思われる方もいるかもしれません。私自身、テスラへの投資は資産運用という側面だけで見たときに、トリプルバガー候補としてのみであれば、ここまで全力投資はしていないと思います。そこで今回は過去のイーロン・マスクの発言を探り、イーロン・マスクが何を考えているのか、どこを目指しているのかを解説したいと思います。
This is extremely important. I think the danger of AI is much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads by a lot. Mark my words, AI is far more dangerous than nukes. The biggest issue I see with so-called AI experts is that they think they know more than they do. And they think they're smarter than they actually are. This tends to plague smart people. They define themselves by their intelligence, and they don't like the idea that a machine could be way smarter than them, so they discount the idea, which is fundamentally flawed. That's the wishful thinking situation. I'm very close to the cutting edge in AI, and it scares the hell out of me. It's capable of vastly more than almost anyone knows, and the rate of improvement is exponential.
It feels like we are the biological bootloader for AI, effectively. We are building it. And then we're building progressively greater intelligence. And the percentage of intelligence that is not human is increasing. And eventually, we will represent a very small percentage of intelligence. It's going to come faster than anyone appreciates. I think it's with each passing year, the sophistication of computer intelligence is growing dramatically. I mean, I really think we're on an exponential improvement path of artificial intelligence, and the number of smart humans that are developing AI is also increasing dramatically. I mean, if you look at like the attendance at the AI conferences, they're doubling every year. They're getting full. I have a sort of a young cousin of mine who's graduating from Berkeley in computer science and physics, and I asked him, like, well, how many of the smart students are studying AI and computer science? And the answer is all of them. Or a better approach or better outcome is that we achieve democratization of AI technology, meaning that no one company or a small set of individuals has control over advanced AI technology. I think that's very dangerous. It could also get stolen by somebody bad. like some evil dictator or country could send their intelligence agency to go steal it and gain control. It just becomes a very unstable situation, I think, if you've got any incredibly powerful AI. You just don't know who's going to control that. So it's not as though I think that the risk is that the AI would develop a will of its own right off the bat. I think it's more that's the concern is that someone may use it in a way that is bad, and even if they weren't going to use it in a way that's bad, that somebody could take it from them and use it in a way that's bad. That I think is quite a big danger.
All of us already are cyborgs. So you have a machine extension of yourself in the form of your phone and your computer and all your applications. You are already superhuman. But by far, you have more power, more capability than the President of the United States had 30 years ago. If you have an internet link, you have an oracle of wisdom. You can communicate to millions of people. You can communicate to the rest of Earth instantly. These are magical powers that didn't exist not that long ago. So everyone is already superhuman.
I think the singularity is probably the right word, because we just don't know what's going to happen once there's intelligence substantially greater than that of a human brain. I mean, most of the movies and TV featuring AI, they don't describe it in quite the way it's likely to actually take place. But I think you just have to consider, like, even in the benign scenario where if AI is much smarter than a person, what do we do?
Yeah.
What is that? What job do we have?
I have to say that when something is a danger to the public, then there needs to be some government agency, like regulators. The fact is, like, we've got regulators in the aircraft industry, car industry, with drugs, food, and anything that's sort of a public risk. I think this has to fall into the category of a public risk.
Usually there'll be some new technology that will cause damage or death. There will be an outcry. There will be an investigation. Years will pass. There will be some sort of insight committee. There will be rulemaking. Then there will be oversight, eventually regulations. This all takes many years. This is the normal course of things. If you look at, say, automotive regulations, how long did it take for seatbelts to be implemented, to be required? The auto industry fought seatbelts, I think, for more than a decade. Successfully fought any regulations on seatbelts, even though the numbers were extremely obvious. If you had a seatbelt on, you would be far less likely to die or be seriously injured. It was unequivocal. And the industry fought this for years, successfully. Eventually, after many, many people died, regulators insisted on seatbelts. This time frame is not relevant to AI. You can't take 10 years from the point at which it's dangerous. It's too late.
I'm not normally an advocate of regulation and oversight. I think one should generally err on the side of minimizing those things. But this is a case where you have a very serious danger to the public. And so therefore, there needs to be a public body that has insight and then oversight to confirm that everyone is developing AI safely. This is extremely important. I think the danger of AI is much greater than the danger of nuclear warheads by a lot. And nobody would suggest that we allow anyone to just build nuclear warheads if they want. That would be insane. So why do we have no regulatory oversight? This is insane.
And the intent with OpenAI is to democratize AI power. There's a quote that I love from Lord Acton. He was the guy who came up with power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely, which is that freedom consists of the distribution of power and despotism in its concentration. And so I think it's important, if we have this incredible power of AI, that it not be concentrated in the hands of a few and potentially lead to a world that we don't want.
I'm not really all that worried about the short-term stuff. things that are like narrow AI is not a species level risk. It will result in dislocation, in lost jobs, and sort of better weaponry and that kind of thing. But it is not a fundamental species level risk, whereas digital superintelligence is. So it's really all about laying the groundwork to make sure that if humanity collectively decides that creating digital superintelligence is the right move, then we should do so very, very carefully. Very, very carefully.
We're rapidly headed towards digital superintelligence that far exceeds any human. I think it's very obvious.
このようにイーロン・マスクは学習、推論などの高度な知的処理能力を伴う人工知能 AI については人類の未来にとって非常に大きな有用性がある一方で悪用を避けるべく一部の権力者単独の利用に留めるのではなくより民主的につまり誰でもその恩恵が得られるよう広く普及していかなければならないと述べています。これはあくまで理想的な側面かもしれませんが人類の発展のために尽力しているイーロン・マスクであれば本当に考えているのかもしれません。一方で株主目線ではこうした中でもしっかりと企業価値を高めてもらわなければなりません。イーロン・マスクのコメントの中で AI が将来普及した時に私たち人類がどんな働き方をするのか、どんな生き方、どんな世界を生きるのかといったシンギュラリティに関する疑問を投げかけています。これは私たちだけでなく、イーロン・マスク自らに投げかけてきた疑問だと思うのです。現在でもとてつもないスピードで人工知能の開発が進んでいますが、シンギュラリティとはその延長線上にある人類よりも人工知能の知性が上回るタイミングのことで、その時に今の社会がどのように変化するのかは誰にもわからないと言われています。これまで人類が他の生物よりも高い知能を武器にして進化し、生態系の頂点に立ってきましたが、シンギュラリティによって人類の文明ができてから初めてその関係性が覆されるということなのです。このシンギュラリティにおいてインタビュー中のイーロン・マスクは悪意のある第三者によって AI の主導権が握られることを非常に意識している、警戒していることがわかりますが、逆に自らこうした AI 開発をリードしたいという思惑も透けて見えます。これはあくまで私の想像ですが、イーロン・マスクはシンギュラリティが想定よりも前倒しに起きると考え、世界に大きな変革をもたらす AI 技術において、他の企業に主導権を握られることなく自ら開発をリードし、AI 中心の社会において知能の進化の中心的役割を担おうと考えているのではないかなと思っています。こうしたことから冒頭のシーンでも述べたように、テスラの企業価値は今や EV メインではなく AI メインへと生まれ変わっていこうとしていることがわかるのです。最終的にはイーロン・マスクはテスラの AI がこれまでの民間需要だけではなく世界中の国家規模で大きな需要が見込まれる巨大産業になることを予見しているのです。最後はこのことが伺えるインタビューで締めくくろうと思います。
Then there's also the Optimus program, which is our humanoid robot, where we'll leverage our manufacturing expertise and the intelligence we've developed for self-driving to have a useful humanoid robot. Now, the economy is fundamentally GDP per capita times capita. If you no longer have a constraint on capita because of a useful humanoid robot, it is not clear that there is any limit to the size of the economy.
今回の内容は以上となります。最後までご覧いただきありがとうございます。もし内容が気に入っていただけたら、チャンネル登録と高評価、通知ボタンを押していただけると大変励みになります。Twitter もやっていて毎日テスラやマーケットのことをつぶやいていますので、テスラ全力チャンネルと検索してフォローしていただけると嬉しいです。それではまた次回の動画でお会いしましょう。ご視聴ありがとうございました。バイバイ。